Sup guys, Juggalo here, and I'm probably gonna be already talking about which everybody is pretty much. I'm gonna be talking about the Nvidia Shield. I'll have a link in the link description so you guys can see it if you didn't hear about it. But I think it was on a computer forum, said, hey, Nvidia has a special announcement. It's gonna be live at such and such a time. So I tuned into it. I knew it was not going to be the GTX 700 series graphics cards. Right off the bat, I already knew. So I was like, okay, well, what are they gonna try to implement? What they're gonna try to do to the market? They came out with a server that, to me, is basically meant for the cloud, kind of, and everything like that. It's like, okay, so you have a new kind of server. That's fine and dandy. And then they went to release, or not a release, but I should say do an announcement on Nvidia Shield. It has a Tegra 4 processor. It has a 5-inch screen. Has 72 cores on the Nvidia GeForce GPU. It has a quad-core A15 CPU. It has a multi-touch display. Essentially, it's a controller that has been extended a little bit to accommodate everything. They have speakers on the left and right top. They have bass on the bottom, I think. You know, 2 thumbsticks. They have a thumb pad on the top left. Almost like a PlayStation 3 controller. Because you have the 2 in the center, you have your thumb pad on the left, and then you have your buttons on the right. So it's almost like that. And then in the center has a start, speaker, Nvidia, back, and home. The reason why is because it's built on Android operating system. It has Wi-Fi connectivity and Android Jelly Bean. So that means you can play Android games on here. It's going to be basically just Jelly Bean itself and nothing else on it. That's what you would think. But you don't know because sometimes companies like to add their own little twist to it. So we'll see. So you're able to play this on your TV. They were kind of bragging, saying, hey, this is the first thing connected to a 4K resolution TV. And then they said you can play Android games, as I already mentioned, but also you can play Steam. That's right, you can use Steam on here. The catch is your computer has to be running a GTX 6 series card. You have to download, of course, some kind of program so they can communicate to each other. Your computer has to be on the whole time while you're playing the game. You can't have your computer off. That's the only drawback, I guess. So you have your computer running. You're on Wi-Fi. So you have like your computer upstairs or downstairs, vice versa, whatever you want, and you're in the living room, not near your computer. And you're over Wi-Fi. Gamers generally do not like Wi-Fi. A hard Ethernet connection will always be better than Wi-Fi. It's a given. Yes, Wi-Fi is getting better, but having a hard line is that much better. I read some articles. I think it was CNET and a couple other places are like, yeah, Hawken played great. I played another game and it looked like it wasn't reaching the 60 frames per second, which gamers want. So this is going to be a boom or bust because you got to think Nvidia predominantly they build, you know, the Quattro series cards and then they have their 6 series cards or 5 series cards meant for enthusiasts and gamers and everything like that. Is this a good idea? This is what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, that's really cool, but is it going to be, is it going to be a boom or a bust? The reason why is because predominantly gamers want mouse and keyboard on the PC. If they're a hardcore PC, you know, player, they don't want to deal with a gamepad whatsoever. So that can be a disaster for Nvidia if the product doesn't sell. Yes, you're going to have Nvidia fanboys that will buy it just to buy it. They didn't mention a price point or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, 300, 400 bucks probably, because essentially it's like a console. So probably around there. They didn't tell a release date or how much it's going to cost. So I'm just estimating. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just estimating. Yes, I like what they're doing, but is it really geared for your target audience? Because a lot of people want mouse and keyboard on their computer gaming, not on a 5-inch screen with a controller. So go figure. Okay, next up, there's a company, I think it's called Xi3, and Valve has invested into this mini computer. Again, this can be a boom or bust as well. The reason why I'm going to say this, it cost $1,000. That's right, $1,000 for a computer that's fairly small. I would say might be a little bit longer than this processor that I have right here. So maybe there, and then it has a dip in the center, and it has rounded corners. Costs $1,000. I'm looking at the specs sheet and I'm asking myself, how are you gonna make this $1,000 deal when it just doesn't have the $1,000 price range I would want in this? It doesn't have the specs I want for $1,000. High end is a 5A dual core processor board. The processor is going to be a dual core 64-bit 3400E, speed 1.8 gigahertz, and using 2 gigs of DDR2. And it costs $1,000. That's right, $1,000. Alright, and the one I listed is the higher end model. It supports DirectX 11. The lower end supports DirectX 10. But it's $1,000. You're only using DDR2, only 2 gigs of RAM, only a 1.8 gigahertz processor. It has a 1 terabyte hard drive. Lower the cost, put a 500 gig hard drive. That's all you need. You don't need a 1 terabyte hard drive. That's what's going to drive the price of this product up, is by putting a bigger hard drive in there. Now it's saying what it can support: eSATA 2, USB 6 2.0 ports, reconfigurable audio channels, blah 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 blah, fan connector, and external size is 4.270 inches by 3.656 inches by 3.656 inches. Has a 3-year warranty. Blah 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 blah. You can upgrade it and all that stuff. That's what they're trying to do. It's a modular PC you can upgrade. They're advertising that it's low energy use, 20 watts, and blah 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 blah. Okay, if you're a serious gamer, why in the hell would you spend $1,000 for this product that is obviously lacking in hardware? Yes, it is small. I understand that. But if you are a gamer, you would not spend $1,000 on something like this. It's $1,000. For $1,000, you could put a GTX 660 Ti as a graphics card and base it around that and still have DDR3 RAM, decent motherboard, a decent hard drive, and all that stuff. But this is $1,000. But don't worry, it has a 3-year warranty, it looks like, on here. So this is the Xi3. Valve has invested in it. It's nicknamed Piston. I'll put a link in the description for you guys to see it. But way too much money. $1,000. Way, way, way too much money for what they're trying to do. So we'll see how that goes. Again, you got two products, boom or bust. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you, for your support. And as always, comment, subscribe, rate this video, click that like button. Guys, have a great day.